Greetings, brothers and sisters, family and friends. I am the Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel Jordan, and I welcome you to part eight of this critical 12-part series on food addiction. We're going to be talking about bad bacteria that grows within the gut. If this is the first video you have come across, please, you need to cut this video off and go watch the other 7 parts. And as a matter of fact, before you watch the other 7 parts, you need to watch my full 12-part series on the power of the G-bombs. Why? Because knowledge is power. The more you learn, the more what you learn will influence how you act. For those select few who have been chosen to walk a higher path to their health, then you will listen to me. You will heed to the wisdom that I'm giving you, because I'm speaking from experience of knowing that knowledge is power. Thank you all for sharing these videos. Some of you all tell me you share them as much as you possibly can. I know it's hard getting people to listen, but I appreciate you sharing and helping me spread the word. I appreciate your donations and your support, whether it's sharing the videos, your testimonials, supporting others through in the comment section, the books, the DVDs, and the supplements that I provide on my online store at theministerofwellness.com. It is greatly appreciated. And for those of you who have attempted to give my information to event organizers and health ministries in your city because you're not able to come to St. Louis when I host events here in my hometown, I appreciate it. And you just have to be patient, and prayerfully the Most High will touch their hearts to visit my website and give me a call. Because right now, all across this nation, there are thousands and thousands of meetings and events going on, and people paying millions of dollars to put together events and bring speakers in. And they're not talking about anything as critical as health. But it can be a little more challenging to convince your local urban league. They might be having a health fair in a month. And why wouldn't they bring me in? Well, the reason why is because if you go to the health fair, what do you see there? You see all the conventional chicanery that's doing nothing to help people improve their lives. So just keep sharing, keep pressing on, and eventually I'm sure I will meet and greet each and every last one of you, even for those of you all listening from the United Kingdom and in Africa and Australia and all across the world. Just hold on to the faith, and I'm sure one of these days I'll be bringing this information live to your area. For those of you all who have kept up with all of my videos and you're really being empowered, I want to remind you to be careful with who you share this knowledge with, meaning who you're trying to convince to change. You have to understand that most people don't want the truth. They don't. And I say that with all sobriety of heart. That does not make me happy to say that. OK, and I don't say that standing on the pedestal. It's just the truth. Millions of people are suffering from high blood pressure and diabetes, but their diet-induced mental illness is so strong, it has wholly overpowered their logical minds. So they would rather whine and complain like children about their condition. But if you send them my videos, they will reject it. Listen, this battle is hard enough to fight even when you want the truth. You all want the truth, and it's still a struggle. So what type of hope is there in this life for those who don't want the truth? If you want the truth and receive the truth and it's still hard, well, people who don't want the truth, they don't stand a chance. My voice has been heard by millions of people. All praises to the Most High, and it's going to be heard by millions more. Yet I only have about 1,000 out of 9,000 subscribers keeping up with my videos. That always boggles me. Even when I look at other channels, they have 100,000 people on the channel. When I feel the Phil Advised TV show, he has over 1 million subscribers. He is the largest black news media channel in the world. And I posted videos on his page about cancer, heart disease, and they would only get about, we're not even talking about a tenth of the people would even tune in. But when I post something controversial, and that's just the way it is, sad. Some of my videos have thousands or more views than the number of subscribers I have. I think my top video has 13,000 views. The point is, many are called, but few are chosen. I saw a recent comment in the where a brother tried to preach to a customer at his job about not allowing his wife to feed their baby water containing the brain damaging toxin fluoride. Well, the customer was not pleased and called in to his manager, he said, and threatened him. And you can see that comment and offer the brother some words of encouragement on the Get Off the Death Train video series that I've started. Get Off the Death Train. And he posted on that. So offer him and anybody else you see words of encouragement. This is an online support center for helping each other get off the death train. This is not a channel for arguing and bickering about the millions of different theological. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. We're not about to start debating the millions of differences we have about theology and religious beliefs. And there's absolutely zero tolerance for any type of racism. And that's why I have moderators going through the comments. What I want to see and what will be maintained on this channel is support for each other despite differences. Because we're here to help each other get off the death train. That's what we're here for. So he posted a comment that that a customer, he tried to offer some advice to this customer's wife and he got called in on and threatened. But I told him that, and brother, if you're listening, you can't do that. That's not a wise decision. These people, leave these food zombies alone. You have to leave them alone. Remember the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith? Well, that's the world we're living in. If you haven't watched that movie, that's an excellent movie. I'm not a fan of Hollywood, but let me tell you something. That's a great, that was a good movie. And it's true. People are like the monsters in that movie. They might not be as extreme as they appeared in the movie. Because remember, in the movie, it was some so-called cure, the doggone pharmaceutical industry that turned them into that. If you pay real close attention when you're walking through Walmart, you'll notice that the standard American diet, also known as the satanic American diet, is causing an epidemic of physical deformities in people. I mean, you got folks walking around with 5 necks, stomachs down to the ankles, face twisted up from strokes, mental retardation, extreme obesity, elderly walking around crumbled up like gremlins. Okay, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful in any way, but this unnatural way of eating and living is really jacking people up physically and mentally. I know that sounds cold, but you all know I'm right about it. Almost a fourth of Walmart's parking lot is for the handicapped. You all notice that. And most of the handicapped, they not even seniors. They get out of the car and they're in their 40s and 50s. The point is that most people are mindless zombies and they will get violent with you. Hell have no fury, like a food addict who is told their eating habits is killing them. I remember a popular radio host here in St. Louis. That man held a grudge against me for 3 years because I told him he was on his way to a stroke. They don't want to hear it, family. They don't. And remember, processed foods or cause aggression and violent behavior. So don't be foolish. Especially don't lose your job, brother. Leave these people alone. We're not going to be able to save most of them. Let your light shine, not run your mouth. And all of this that I'm saying, I'm speaking from experience. I know I come strong and hard. Well, that's because I know you all want the truth. I know that. And then, of course, I have to come like this because I have to make sure that not only do you all want the truth, but, we got insane food zombies listening in right now. They listening in just to hate me. And I don't care. I mean, the Most High bless you and keep you. And I pray that he changes your mind for those who are listening and you just listening to hate and give your thumbs down. And I don't care. As long as you don't leave your stupid comments on my videos, you can watch and hate all you want. It's not going to do me no harm. You just not going to post comments and start chaos on my channel. That's all I care about. But I can't stop nobody from watching. And I have to speak the hardcore truth so that when you stand before your maker, you're not going to have any excuse. But I'm not. But don't believe you all that I'm just walking around evangelizing the people about killing themselves with food. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Please be careful. OK, so let's go ahead and dive into harmful bacteria, the 8th component of food addiction. When we eat micronutrient deficient foods, food that has no natural medicines in it, it not only builds cellular toxicity, but healthy gut flora is compromised, or gut microbiome. Gut health is essential because 70% of our immune system is in our gut. There are millions of living organisms floating around inside of our digestive system called probiotics. These probiotics are kept alive and thriving primarily through prebiotics. Now, contrary to our pill for every ill mentality, the best way to build healthy gut bacteria is through what? You guessed it, diet. Onions, apples, cruciferous vegetables are just a few of the thousands of fruits and vegetables which help support a healthy gut. We cannot drug our way into mental and physical health. We have tried and continue to try, and it's a disaster. Americans and most of the so-called developed world are not eating a plant-rich diet. And therefore, the gut health of our nation is feeble. Poor gut health leads to a myriad of diseases, including autoimmune disease, autism, and even cancer. It also contributes to obesity because junk foods do the opposite of plant foods by building bad bacterial strains in our gut. When micronutrient deficient junk foods build harmful bacteria such as Candida albicans, you literally have an alien life form in your body. This is not good. Not good at all. Here's why. Pay very close attention. Remember, the transcribed versions of all of these parts are on my Facebook page, The Minister of Wellness. So you can go back and read it or just rewatch the video. And make sure you're downloading these. YouTube is shutting people off left and right that's speaking this truth about health. I only have 9,000 subscribers, so I'm not on their radar yet. Listen, no life wants to die. All life wants to live. Even plants. That's why some of the plants develop thorns around the flowers. So if meat, dairy, sugary foods, fried foods, and drinking sodas and caffeinated coffee, okay, caffeine is a drug, so you shouldn't be drinking coffee. You shouldn't be drinking a drug. That caffeine the reason why it gives you energy, because it's a drug. It goes inside of your cells and it pulls energy out of your cells that the cells isn't ready to be used. It's forcing you to have artificial energy. That's not good. You want to have natural energy. You want to naturally be upbeat and have energy throughout the day. You don't want to have to drink a poison and then it goes inside of your cells, deep in the cells, energy reserves, and pull out what it's not ready to use. So you shouldn't be doing the caffeine. Got to let it go. It's an addictive drug, and it does cause cancer because you're messing with the cells. You're stripping the cells of its energy. And so that's going to cause the cell to become oxidized, and you continue that year after year after year, and you'll be on your way to a cancer diagnosis. Leave the caffeine alone. So if you're eating junk to build this harmful bacteria in your gut, what do you think the bacteria will need to do to maintain its existence? Yeah, it's going to send your brain signals to eat junk. It needs to be fed what created it to stay alive. I hope that makes sense. Candida albicans is one of the popular ones known for driving cravings for sugar, salt, and fried foods. But there are many more. There's many more. There's 300 to 500 strains of bacteria floating around in our gut. Besides influencing your desire to pig out, a compromised gut microbiome also contributes to other negative behaviors to support obesity and poor health, such as poor sleep and food insensitivities. This all adds up to the unbearable feelings of withdrawal food addicts feel as soon as they stop digesting food, which is the seventh component of food addiction, toxic hunger. People are too uncomfortable to go more than a few hours without eating. They are so uncomfortable they can even develop severe mood swings or a change in personality. The Snickers commercial admits that junk foods can create instant personality disorder. Instantly. So like in the commercial on Snickers, they'll have a young man turn into a nasty old woman because he is feeling toxic hunger. This is happening because of the hypoglycemia, low blood sugar from the junk food, psychological addiction, that's the pleasure trap, toxic hunger, and harmful bacteria fueling intense cravings. So you have all these forces combined to turn someone into a full-blown maniac over some junk food. When you deprive a food addict of their hit, their high, their dopamine stimulation, it can make them irritability, make them grouchy. Now, what happens in the commercial when you give the man his dope? What happens? Well, he turns back into himself. His mild case of sudden schizophrenia subsides. So how do you get rid of Candida albicans? You never broke that down like that, have you? See, we just sit there and watch this TV getting programmed and entertained, detaining of the mind, and we're not really opening our eyes up to what they're telling us. And then they say, satisfy your hunger. That's not hunger, as I talked about in the last part. So how do you get rid of Candida albicans and other harmful strains of bacteria? How do we rebuild and support a healthy gut microbiome? You should already know the answer. For those of you who have greatness within you, it's a nutrient-dense, plant-rich diet focused on what? Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. These foods are rich in prebiotics, which help build and support probiotics. I cannot emphasize enough the futility of the portion control moderation diet. They are asking food addicts with alien life forms in their gut to use willpower to eat 5 to 7 small meals a day, regardless of the micronutrient density of what they're eating. It can't work because the only time toxic hunger and harmful bacteria ceases to drive them nuts is when their digestive system is working. That's the only time. And because micronutrient deficient and fiber less foods don't fill you up, you have to overeat to shut the withdrawal off. You can't just eat a little bit of a portion controlled diet, the meat, starch, and vegetable diet. It's not going to work. It's too low in micronutrients. And so so even after you get done eating, your brain is begging for more. And the toxic hunger is still there. But you have to use the wheel of an iron, or the iron wheel, to make it the next 3 hours to the next meal. Eventually, you're going to give in and you're going to binge. So the meat and potatoes diet not going to work. The only way to survive on that, you have to eat a lot of food. So you have to eat a whole lot of meat and potatoes. And then what do you do in an hour or so? You have some chips. Then what you do in there? Then you a large meat deli sandwich for lunch. Then after lunch, in an hour or two, you popping some candy in your mouth. And then you having a Big Mac, and a large fries your brain from McDookie for dinner. And then you still not done. You have some ice cream a few hours later, right before bed. Okay, and you have to do this. You have to keep on putting stuff in your mouth to keep that digestive system working, so you don't feel that withdrawal. The only way to stop this vicious cycle of overeating is to restore a healthy gut and get rid of toxic hunger. That way, you can not only comfortably prefer to eat less often. Not only can you comfortably eat less and less often, but you prefer to. It's natural. Not using willpower. You cannot overeat a salad. It's impossible. You cannot overeat bean chili. Before you even get to 500 calories, the vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals in fiber will quickly send signals to your brain that you're full. And you'll stay full for hours, which is what we want. Now, speaking of signals to your brain, I want to mention that junk foods shut off the hunger regulating hormone leptin. Leptin. Leptin's job is to tell your brain to stop eating. However, when too much insulin is secreted into the bloodstream due to sugary and fatty foods, so think of a piece of processed pie and a burger, that insulin, those foods are going to turn insulin off. It secretes too much insulin. Insulin's job is to regulate blood sugar. The pancreas, which produces insulin, is only supposed to produce just enough to control the sugar by delivering it to your cells for energy. On a plant-rich diet, only tiny amounts of insulin is needed because the sugar is broken down from complex carbs, such as sweet potatoes or beans. So the pancreas pumps out a small amount of insulin, and then it gets used up and goes away. I hope you all are following me. But when loads of refined sugar and animal fat is poured into our bodies, the pancreas panics and too much insulin is dumped into the bloodstream. And because too much is pumped out, it doesn't just go away. The insulin stays in the blood. And because insulin needs some sugar to regulate, it tells your brain you need food. So the brain obeys leptin the brain obeys insulin and turns leptin off. So therefore, just rewind it, just listen to this over, or go to my YouTube channel and read the article if you didn't quite get what I said. So therefore, we have the oxymoron of a 500-pound person being able to eat all day and still feeling hungry. Even though common sense would tell you that if you're 500 pounds, the last thing you are is hungry. Now, monosodium glutamate, MSG, aspartame, and other excitotoxins and chemicals and chemicals turns leptin off. Therefore, the Chinese load their foods with MSG. Why do you think Chinese food and all Asian foods do this, and even the junk foods here in